Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So today we're back again with another episode of MCOC character breakdowns, and today we are going to be talking about arguably one of the most hated champions in the game, and that's the Bug King himself, Annihilus. Now, ever since the introduction of Annihilus, he has done absolutely nothing for anybody realistically worthwhile aside from made their lives living pain. Why? Because he's a horrible champion to fight against, and quite frequently Kabam has noticed that and started placing him on all of the paths in Act 6. Like in 6.4, every path has Annihilus. Okay, maybe not every path, but he is definitely pretty much in every single quest. And yeah, so we're going to talk about him a bit more, and as well as some counters and possibility of some offensive use as well. So let's jump to the next scene where I am in front of an empty wall, and with that I can start basically throwing random pieces of text at it. So we're going to start with the base info. So the champion name obviously is Annihilus. He is of cosmic class, size medium, and his main tag is simply villain. He's an offensive burst champion and largely used in alliance war defense. Does not have too much offensive utility, which is something Kabam tried to rectify with a very painful process of balance changing, and he was one of the kind of like earlier subjected champions to balance change, but that didn't really do too much good for the champion in my personal opinion. Now when it goes to his damage output is actually fairly mediocre. It situationally can be good, and there will be some clips showcasing Annihilus hitting insanely hard for like 30k mediums, but in order to achieve that you need a extremely aggressive AI that has a short special attack animation, and that also pretty much goes with the granted that you bait out all of the special attacks extremely quickly. The way it works is when Annihilus strikes opponent, you have a chance to armor break and stifle them. Stifle is a special kind of debuff made specifically for the Annihilus, and effectively with level 2 you can convert those stifles into fury buffs, which are relatively potent, and that combined with X amount of armor breaks can allow him to do some really decent and good damage that would compared to the best of them. The problem with that is that it's extremely situational and quite frequent. Even when you do manage to get plenty of stifles and plenty of furies on the opponent, all it takes is for opponent not to throw one special attack, then your furies expire and you basically have to start all over again. And yeah, such is kind of like the bane of Annihilus. So as mentioned before, the delivery method of this champion in particular is why armor breaks and fury buffs mainly, and then if you have good setup there, and if you do manage to be aggressive and get multiple combos in, then your regular kind of hits will deal quite a lot of damage. When it comes to critical rating and so on and so forth, he's somewhat alright, some decently down the middle. So there is a way how this champion can do a lot of damage. Unfortunately, it's just quite unrealistic in kind of like real questing situations. Now, as an opponent, he is annoying. As an opponent, he is extremely annoying, largely because of his stifle mechanic. Whenever opponent is stifle, if you happen to dash back, he's gonna go unstoppable, and then obviously unstoppable opponents are quite tricky to deal with, and he also has quite aggressive AI that loves to corner you. All that combined with a relatively cheekily tricky to evade level 1, because quite often his animation still kind of catches you, even if you think that you have dexed in the right moment. So all of that combined just makes it for quite uncomfortable experience where you end up being cornered, get hit in the face, and slowly watch your health basically get destroyed by this annoying bug that will just not leave you alone. And all of those reasons combined, especially additional stress when it comes to, for instance, alliance wars and not dying, and then people do tend to get tilted. Annihilus is one of those champions where you can frequently see him get like half a dozen kills just because somebody got the jitters, because he can be a horrible fight. Now, truth of the matter is, Annihilus is relatively simple to counter because majority of his abilities are connected to his cosmic rod. That's right, Annihilus is nothing without his rod, just like a man is nothing without his woman. What do you guys think that I will say? Anyways, I'm trying to say is, so long as you bring in a mystic champion that's capable of nullifying his cosmic rod, you can escape the bane of that whole stifle mechanic, him going unstoppable. And in addition to that, whenever you nullify his cosmic rod, it is replaced with 3 furies, because quite poetically, whenever you would get rid of a man's rod, he would get quite angry, right? So he gets 3 fury buffs, which are also free for nullification, and that can feed many Mystic champions spamming a lot of special attacks. Once you nullify the Cosmic Rod, I will keep saying rod in this video, you better get used to it or you get out. Whenever you nullify the Cosmic Rod, it will come back within 10 seconds, but once again, if you are able to nullify it again, he's going to again gain 3 fury buffs, thus continuously feeding up your Mystic Dispersion. So that is the key factor to absolutely destroying Annihilus, is just bring in Mystic champions who have easy access to nullify effects, and you will be fine. There will not be too much problem dealing with the guy. So let's move on next to the tilty bits. Now, notable utility is that he's immune to power drains while his Cosmic Rod's active. He's pretty much like the only champion who's fully immune to power drain, power steal, so on and so forth, and like pretty much all of the abilities that mess with his power. So he would be immune to Plague Mine, he would be immune to Static Blast, so on and so forth, which is one very underrated and I feel that unspoken aspect about this champion, because in particular Acts 6.3 and 4 does love to mess with your power, and many nodes, a lot of different paths have these these nodes which could consistently drain your power, like Plague Mine, like Static Blast, so on and so forth. So Annihilus is actually kind of flat out quite perfect counter for a lot of that stuff, which is quite interesting to mention. Unfortunately, he's not that great of an offensive utility powerhouse to quite frequently be used as your like main to go-to option. Even though his utility bit kind of is there, the rest of the toolkit doesn't kind of qualify for him to be an offensive powerhouse. Anyways, he is Cold Snap and Frostbite immune if his Cosmic Rod is active, so that's worthwhile to note. He can be used for Icemans and a couple of other nodes, and obviously the fact that he will be able to spam a lot of debuffs on opponent and acquire a lot of fury buffs on himself does make him quite useful for stuff like buffed up lanes, distract lanes. In addition, he synergizes extremely well with Despair Mastery. If you want to know how well he synergizes with Despair Mastery, there is a Realm of Legends Wolverine kill with me using Annihilus, like rank 3 5-star Annihilus, I think. So he can pretty much continuously keep up enough debuffs on opponent to completely shut down their healing, which is something that is worth to mention in my opinion. Now let's move on. Notable uses. So when it comes to endgame situations, realistically you will see Annihilus only in 2 different circumstances as far as I have noticed. He is a staple Alliance War defender and one of the most annoying Alliance War defenders at that. So pretty much every single Alliance War you will see this guy on a map somewhere, because he is quite a bit of a pain to deal with. Yes, there are methods of dealing with him, however, not everybody plays as well as the next person, and there's a good chance that this guy can catch somebody with his unstoppables and just being awkward in general. Now, another recent use for the champion will be in incursions, because he fits pretty much all of the buff modules that are available in incursions. That if you increase the ability accuracy on his like mediums and lights, then you will be stacking more stifles, more armor breaks, and that will result in you dealing more damage. There are buff cornucopia. He gains a lot of buffs frequently, so he's going to benefit from that node greatly. There are nodes that work whenever a non-damaging debuff expires on opponent, so he places a lot of those. So basically, Annihilus is kind of like a champion that happened to be at the right place, right time, because all of the buffs in in incursions kind of work with him and can make him quite broken and busted. And I'm sure it's only a matter of time till there's going to be absolutely insane rank 5 Annihilus incursion footage out there somewhere. Now, when it comes to synergies, I'm going to change my idea. Instead of just writing down on the wall here, what I will do now is we're actually going to quickly jump to Auntma's website, because I wanted to showcase something else frequently. And for instance, this time it's going to be signature ability. Now, signature ability is not the most mandatory on the champion. Basically, it will let him increase his damage output by a degree, but we can definitely see here that it scales extremely well. So if you are somebody who is committed to Annihilus, then he's a champion that does benefit quite greatly from higher signature level. But when it comes to his synergies, unfortunately, he doesn't really have any too great synergies. He's one of the kind of like more poor champions when it comes to synergy wise. He himself only has 3 synergies, and none of them are too special. Couple of synergies to note would be Fantastic Friends with Mole Man. That would give him a 20% chance to purify debuff. However, 20% is not enough to be reliable, but hey, it might occasionally be helpful. Unfortunately, Mole Man is a bit of a dud of a character, so you will not be bringing him on your questing team too much. Fantastic Rage helps Mr. Fantastic. Fantastic Rage helps Dr. Doom, does not help Annihilus. Now, Prisoner does extend the Fury buffs by 1 second, and 1 second does not sound too impressive. Now, it could potentially be helpful under circumstances, but once again, Terex is a bit of a dud of a champion, so you would not like to have him on your offensive team anyways. And Total Annihilation, plus 65 physical resistance while unstoppable. Again, it's nothing really too great for the champion, and definitely doesn't change kind of like his core mechanics. Now, the one notable synergy that he does have is with Darkhawk, and while Annihilus is taunted for half a second when striking an auto-blocking opponent while taunted, his attack Annihilus is taunted for half a second when striking an auto-blocking opponent. While taunted, his attack rating is reduced by 40%. And that would sound like a bad thing. And it would sound like something you do not want to do. You do not want to get debuff on you for a short amount of time that reduces your attack rating by 40%. But Annihilus has an additional trick in store, and that is here with his Cosmic Rod. And it states, while taunted, gain true accuracy, unblockable, and unstoppable. So that in itself basically means that he will absolutely shred any auto-blocking opponent with this synergy, because whenever they will attempt to auto-block, you will go unstoppable, you will go unblockable, and you will land your hit regardless. Now, this ability is quite interesting. Unfortunately, there's only one champion in the game where it can be useful against without the Darkhawk synergy, and only champion that I can imagine that can place taunt on you without actually landing hits at you is Mr. Fantastic, because whenever Mr. Fantastic lands his level 1s, he still gets the effect of taunt, so that would still activate and make Annihilus go unblockable and unstoppable and have true accuracy. But that's like the only situation where it realistically could be used defensively, I believe. Anyway, so without trying to stretch this video out too long, before I jump and showcase a slight amount of gameplay, I'm gonna dish out the verdict for the champion, and it is quite simply that he's MCOC's most annoying resident bug, which he is. Then largely justifies its existence by shattering hopes and dreams of unsuspecting summoners. 99% Alliance War defense rank up, which effectively is its role, universally admitted. Obviously, there will be some people who claim to love him, who claim to have ranked him for who he is, not the way he looks, and it's on the inside what matters. Annihilus is still a fantastic offensive champion. No, he isn't. Realistically, there are far better cosmic champions or champions in general to rank up for offensive uses, because the utility bits that he provides, albeit might be helpful, are definitely not as potent as majority of other champions can do for you. But Alliance War defense is definitely where this guy shines. Right, all of that being said, let's switch to a different scene. Now, I am in this month's Uncollected, and the only reason why I'm here, because that was like the fastest Modok that I could find, and that's exactly what we're going to do, because I do have Annihilus and I do have Darkhawk. So in theory, whenever Modok tries to auto-block, I should go unstoppable and unblockable. So that is exactly the thing that we're going to test out. See, he tried to auto-block and I just pushed through it, and that's super easy. Very cool thing to do, so you can completely ignore auto-block on all of the champions. Very, very good. Love it. Arguably one of his coolest uses. I would say personally anyways. Because you can just play as if auto-block doesn't exist. Because whenever he does try to auto-block, you just don't care about it. And here we can see I dropped my level 2, I gain my Furies, now I'm going to be hitting harder. And yeah, this is more or less how Annihilus functions. And it's actually kind of useful. And that will probably be thereabouts it for the fight. are almost whatever. Let's go, let's finish that. So yeah, that is the end of it. So we did see that Darkhawk synergy with the Annihilus can actually be super helpful when it comes to dealing with Modocs, Medusas, or whatever else champions that absolutely love to auto block. So I did like this test run, but yeah, that will pretty much bring us towards the end of the video now, and let me jump to the initial scene. So I do hope that you guys have enjoyed today's video, and I do hope that you perhaps maybe tiny bit learned something new and or interesting about this champion. But either way, let me know what you think about Annihilus in comment section. That will do for today. And just to close the video up, I'm going to show you a picture of Baby Yoda, because who does not like Baby Yoda? After watching an ugly bug-like Annihilus, it's definitely a nice palate cleanser just to see this cute creature hold his little cup. In case you do not like Baby Yoda and you prefer watching it Annihilus, then here is a companion to keep you company. Either way, I will be done for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, good. That's what it's supposed to be. See ya.